Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you this morning with another tag. I've been going through tags and deciding that I'm going to get some knocked out and out of the way. And this is a tag that I saw on Steve Donahue's channel just yesterday, I think it was actually. And it actually goes clear back to 2017. And it was created by Katie at Reader Rot. And I'll put the link to both of those channels down in the description below. But the name of the tag is the Anything But Books tag. And I like these tags because every once in a while I get to where I'm just staring at my book, and for whatever reason I struggle to get into my reading. My mind's just kind of racing and everything. So tags like this are good. They get it so that we know each other in the book community, and then on top of that, it gives us something to do when we're struggling with reading. So anyway, without further ado, the Anything But Books tag. So the first question on this tag is, name a cartoon that you love. Okay, so Katie had said that we could name as many as we wanted to. So I was thinking back to my childhood, and I have a lot of fond memories of some of the cartoons that I watched back in the 80s when I was a wee little kid. My favorites were the Smurfs, and many of you probably remember that. They came out with a movie not that, a few years ago. So I love the Smurfs. I absolutely love G.I. Joe. I was a Transformers fan. And then, obviously, like every kid, on Saturday morning, the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show. So those were probably my all-time favorites. There were other ones that I watched, but those are the ones that always, immediately pop in my head when I'm thinking of cartoons. And then when you move into the 90s, when I got into, upper elementary, middle school, high school time period of my life, cartoons kind of, we stopped watching them a little bit, but the couple that really pop in my head that I know I watched a little bit was The Simpsons and then King of the Hill. And King of the Hill was hilarious. I think everybody liked Simpsons at one time. Sometimes Simpsons goes a little overboard with stuff, in my opinion anyway, but it's still funny. But King of the Hill was always great. And now, of course, I'm back in the cartoon mood, or not mood, but mode, with, having kids at home. Of course, my oldest daughter, she's, 17 now, but she watched, like, The Little Mermaid. We watched, her favorite, like, daily cartoon was Strawberry Shortcake. And, we watched those and watched them and watched them and watched them. Had the whole line memorized of everything in the movie and in the TV show. But now I've got my 3-year-old at home, and she's got her favorites. And so I end up watching those with her. And Santiago of the Seas is a favorite. It's about this boy in the Caribbean who's a pirate, and there's good pirates and bad pirates, and they're always going on adventures and learning stuff, and it's kind of fun. Eleanor Wonders Why. That's another cartoon that she really, really likes. Those two cartoons are probably her favorite right at the moment. But Eleanor goes on these questioning adventures where she wonders why, and it's just like it's school for 3-year-olds, really, and it's really good. It's educating. That's why I like it. But she always liked Butterbean's Cafe. She doesn't watch that one nearly as much, but that was a favorite not that long ago. She still loves Clifford, Daniel Tiger and its Neighborhood, and then Mickey Mouse Roadster Racers. So Minnie Mouse is like one of her all-time favorite people. But those are the cartoons I'm watching nowadays. Probably more for because of the 3-year-old than my own personal tastes, but they're not bad cartoons by any means. I just don't watch cartoons anymore. So anyway, number 2, what is your favorite song right now? I have always just listened to whatever's on the radio, whatever my friends were playing in the car. I never really, I had stuff I liked, but it was across all genres for the most part. And I very easily adapted to whatever everybody else was listening to, and I'm still kind of like that. I listen to whatever my girls whether it be my wife or my oldest daughter or the 3-year-old. I just listen to whatever they're listening to. I do know one particular song that I like because it's just got a catchy tune. It's fast paced and it's just fun, especially if you see the music video. Is Brothers Osborne, "It Ain't My Fault," and that thing is hilarious. The music video, I thought that was a wonderful job, and I like the song. It's just very catchy. So that would probably be one of my favorites right now. Question number 3: what could you do for hours that isn't reading? What could I do for hours that isn't reading? So I put down a couple of things. I love to watch baseball and football. I'm a sports fan, and I don't really even care who's playing. I just like watching the sport. I think it's fun. I could watch the top teams, or I could watch the nobodies. It doesn't bother me. I used to be like that with college basketball. Maybe not quite as much. I don't get ESPN on my TV, or you have to pay for the higher package, and I just don't get that. So I don't watch basketball as much. I used to watch a lot of it. You know, when tournament time would come, everybody'd be like, "Who's that team?" And I'd be like, "Oh, that's the team from such and such conference, and they've got such and such and such and such players." And then everybody'd be looking at me like, and I watched them all through the season. They'd always have oddball games on like was it Wednesday or Thursday nights? I can't even remember when I was younger. But so I don't watch that nearly as much, but I could do that for hours when I'm just wanting some downtime. I love to study genealogy, family history. I could do that for hours. That at one point in my life was kind of an obsession, and I would literally sit down I'd be sitting there for 3 hours, and it felt like 20 minutes. And my wife is like, "You're still working on that?" And so that was an easy one to escape in. And then, unfortunately now, one of the things that I could spend hours doing, and I'm going to have to do that today, is grading papers at school. That usually, because when I coach, I don't often get them done that night. I usually wait till the weekend, and then I do a big pile of them, and it takes hours. Even when I'm doing small amounts, it could take an hour or two. So anyway, question number 4. What is something you love to do that your followers would be surprised by? Okay, so I know this is not at the top of everybody's list, but mowing the yard. I like mowing the yard most of the time. I like the clean look it gives your yard. I love the smell of fresh mowed grass. It's an easy way to clean up your house. You know, people drive by and they see that all the time, and you don't even have to have like an awesome lawn. Like your grass doesn't have to be top notch. Even if you've got a lot of weeds in your grass, as long as you keep it mowed short, it doesn't show up nearly as much. And so I like a fresh mowed yard. I do it at least once a week, if not a couple times a week during the summer. And just got done. I didn't do it this weekend, but last weekend I cleaned up the yard for what could be the last time. I might run the mower one more time because we got a mulcher, and it mulches all those leaves from the oak trees. And so I might have to do that one more time if it's warm enough. But if it's not, then I'm good because the grass is right at the level I like it. And also I feel real accomplished. Like I said, it cleans everything up, and it's something I can take a deep breath and go, "Yep, that looks good." And the other thing I really like to do that might surprise everybody and might be weird to some of you, but is I like cemetery walks. I love to walk through cemeteries and look at all of the old stones, all of the different styles of stones, the different messages on the stones, the different pictures on the stones. I know that sounds a little bit morbid, but I love doing cemetery walks. I used to make my oldest daughter go walking with me, and she's kind of outgrown that. She doesn't do that anymore. But I could spend hours doing that. I absolutely love it. And I just love the history. You can learn a lot about a community or a town or whatever based on the stones. You can learn the families and who was rich, who was poor, all of that kind of stuff, the marriage connections. And I just really, really like it. Number 5, what is your favorite unnecessarily specific thing to learn about? This could do with books, I guess. So, as I said earlier, I really love family history, genealogy, the study of family history. I really like it because there's all kinds of ways to do it. There's all kinds of ways to attack that research, and it could be a very broad subject. And I just absolutely like it. I could become engrossed in it. You know, you could look at newspaper articles. You can go to the cemetery. You can look at birth and death records. You can look at the different houses. You can look at letters. I mean, there's just so many different ways. Photographs. All kinds of different ways that you can study your family's history. I've done this in the upper room upstairs where a lot of my books are. I've got a whole it's like a smaller bookshelf. It's like three shelves, and it is completely loaded down with 3-ring binders and stuff of research that I've done on my family history. And I just find that to be it's fascinating, and it totally takes me to another time, takes me to another world, and it's just like reading a history book. But I get to learn something about myself as well, so I really, really enjoy doing that. I find that research to be a lot of fun. Number 6, what is something unusual you know how to do? Okay, so I got to kind of twist this just a little bit, and I'm going to stick with that research side of things. I really know how to do some of this genealogy research, and a lot of people just have no clue, and it's actually really, really simple. And there's family records all over the place if you just know where to look. And so I spent a lot of my book money over the years, maybe not in the last couple years, but in previous years, on genealogy books, how to study the cemeteries, how to study women's records, how to study immigration records, how to study this, that, and the other. And I have learned how to do that. And so I have, say, my house. I researched a little bit on the history of my house, who built it, who were the owners down the years, and then you look at different things around the house. Like my house used to have 2 front doors, and used to have a side door over there, but there's a whole story behind why that was, and it fascinates me. And so I've went through and I've researched a lot of that, and I learned about the original owner of my house. The guy that built my house was actually a Civil War soldier who came back from war and built the house, and he became a lawyer, became the district attorney. He was on the school board. He was a congressman in Des Moines. He was a 2-time U.S. congressman in Washington, D.C., and just all kinds of really cool stuff. It wasn't just the other day I was talking about this at school, and everybody's kind of looking at me like, how do you know all that? And I'm like, I was reading about it. I went to the museum and I read those old newspapers, and I've read the when they were campaigning for the U.S. congressman spot back in it was the late 1880s, and it was a battle between him and another guy. Well, I can't remember how far away. It's a few miles away, and they were both in the Civil War, and they were both using their Civil War records as their, you could trust us. We've done this for our country, and they battled back and forth. And it talked about the guy that built my house. The other side was saying he was in the railroad's pockets, and he was doing it because of railroad money and all this kind of stuff, the corruption, and you get into all of that side, and then you not only do you get to learn about that time period, but you also get to figure out that history does repeat itself. Some things are not new. So when you hear about stuff in the news today, it's like, that is not new. Everybody's so surprised about it. That's been going on for years, and so it's pretty cool to make those connections. So that is something I know how to do is a little bit of that research for family history or the history of my house. Number 7, name something you've made in the last year. And it says show us if you can. So I'm not going to show you, and I'll explain why. First of all, I'm not very handy. I've put things together from like IKEA or Walmart or Target, like different shelves like these. Well, there, I'm showing you something I've put together. I don't know that was in the last year. That was probably 2 years ago I put those together, but that is something I can put together. I can follow directions. And then my daughter has different toys that we've put together, like a little kitchen set and stuff like that. I can follow directions. But one of the favorite things that we put together all the time that we build are puzzles. And my family, we're getting ready to head into December. It's here. It'll be here before you know it, or even Thanksgiving, when families typically gather. Of course, this year might be a little different, but typically when we gather, we always have a big puzzle, maybe two puzzles that end up getting put together as the whole family's there, because it's a way to get everybody around the table at one time, and you can talk about this, that, and the other while you're doing the puzzle. It's a great conversation piece. It's much like having dinner together. It's kind of the same concept, and it's a good way to when you're traveling to somebody else's house, you might not have something to do, and during the downtime when the meal's not happening, and so this just gives you another thing to do. So we put puzzles together all the time. My 3-year-old loves them. We go to Dollar Tree, and they'll have like the Disney puzzles, and we put those together. We'll put 4, 5, 6 of those together in one sitting, and she just loves it. She feels real accomplished by it, so that's always kind of fun. So that's something that I've made in the last year. What is your most recent personal project? And other than trying to get my TBR lists done, which I have come to the conclusion I'm never going to get them done. I don't know why I make them, but and I feel like I guess my most recent personal project is trying to get the book Einstein done. And Arion, if you're watching this, I'm sorry that I'm not reading right now. Don't kill me for that. But anyway, I'm making some progress in it though. But other personal projects that we've been doing, my wife and I have been married for going on 19 years here. Well, about a month. We'll be married for 19 years, and we still don't have all the family pictures on the wall like we would like. My wife gets very finicky about where she wants stuff, and she'll put stuff up, then move it again, then move it again. You ought to see the furniture in our house. It gets moved, it seems like every other week, and she's always trying to figure out a way to make things flow, or what makes her happy. And then she hesitates to put nails in the wall because she knows how she moves things around. So recently we have been getting we got these little decorative shelves where you can put like plates, if you've got collector's plates or just old plates, fancy plates. And so we put a shelf up for the plates, and we put up another shelf that's got some paintings that she bought online with pictures of the family, and it has like an ocean theme, and it looks really cool. I might put a picture of the plates up so you can see what I mean. I'll put it up in the corner there. But that's probably our most recent project. We've been trying to get furniture in the right spot and then get things hung on the wall. 19 years, you ought to be able to figure out where you want something, right? Number 9, tell us something you think about often, maybe while staring out the windows. One thing that I think about often is, what if I bought the winning lotto ticket? So like right now, last night, I guess, the payout after taxes was like $150 million for the Powerball, somewhere around there. And maybe it's a little more than that. I can't remember what it was. It was something like that. And I'm just sitting here thinking, man, what I could do with $150 million. And I space off thinking about that all the time. And, I think about, different donations that I would make, giving so much to the church. I would give so much to the Noise Home, a group home that I spent some time in when I was a kid. Giving some to my school here that I work at, donating money to the school and the different organizations in school. I'd love to be able to fund these different trips that the kids have to do fundraising for all the time. Like they get into BPA, Business Professionals of America, I think is what it's called, and they go to like California, Florida, all these different places that are very expensive to go to, and they have to fundraise all that. I would love to be the rich guy in the background who donates the money for all those kids who have earned the right to go to those places. I think that would be just fabulous. I know my daughter last year really wanted to go on a Europe trip. It was a singing tour, this choir thing, and they got to tour Europe. Of course, that got canceled because of COVID, but it's an expensive trip. It's upwards of $10,000. And the kids, if they want to go, and it's very few that even make an attempt to raise the money, but they've got to figure out how to raise that kind of money. And it's ridiculous. And I would love to just be the rich guy in the background that if they've earned that, boom, give them the money. So if I won the lotto, that'd be a way of doing that. So when I dream, staring out the window and daydream, that's oftentimes something that's going through my head. Building a new house and having the house arranged exactly like I want it, and having my own personal library with plenty of room for the books I have and for future expansion. I dream about that all the time, or even my house right here. Oftentimes I'll get to daydreaming about, I would love to take our house and lift it and put a concrete foundation, because we got like a limestone foundation, and so it's crawl space for most of the house. I'd love to put a full basement in the house and, you know, fix the house up. So those are things that I daydream while staring out the window. I'm guessing several of you do similar stuff. So number 10, give us something that's your favorite, but make it something oddly specific. Not like your favorite food, but like your favorite food when you've been studying for hours and forget to eat, or, you know, something like that. So here's my favorite. And this could happen at different times in the day, but I'm thinking like here, I'm guessing within the next 15 minutes, my 3-year-old is going to come downstairs, and she's going to try to sneak around the corner and surprise me and jump up and yell boo. And a couple videos back that happened, and you guys heard her yelling boo. Steve Donahue thought it was a Sasquatch jumping out. But anyway, I love when she comes out, and if I'm doing a video, I get my video done, or if I'm sitting there reading, I put my book down, and she comes up, and usually she'll be toting 4, 5, 6 different children's books, and she'll put them on the little side table. She'll crawl up in my lap. She puts her arms around my neck, kisses me on the cheek, and she says, "I love you, Daddy. You're the best, Daddy. Will you read these books to me?" And I just, it melts my heart. Absolutely love it. And those little moments like that are special. So that is my oddly specific moment. Lastly, say the first thing that pops into your head. And when I was jotting these things down, I was thinking, why am I doing this and not reading? And so the thing that really popped in my head as I was thinking that was, what am I going to read next? Am I going to stick to my TBR list, or am I going to find something else? Because I do have another book that I'm interested in reading that has nothing to do with what I have been reading. And so that pops in my head a lot. What am I going to read next? And oftentimes I'll find myself just standing in front of the bookshelf staring at my books. I love to admire my own books. I don't know if you guys are like that, but that thought constantly pops into my head. What am I going to read next? What adventure do I want to go on next? And so, anyway, this has been the Anything But Books tag. I hope you've enjoyed this booktube. Like I said, I saw this on Steve Donahue's channel. It was one of the videos that popped up in the feed, and I thought, oh, I could do that one. It's clear back from 2017, so it's going on 4 years old. It was originally made by Katie at Reader Rot. I will put the link to both of those videos in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you're having a great morning. Stay safe, stay healthy. Happy reading.